everyone, and welcome back to the Purple Mic. I'm your host, Erica Nichole Mason, and thank you again for joining us for season 4. Tonight, I have my special friend, Deon Milton. Deon, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Amazing. Amazing. I'm so honored. I'm so excited to be interviewing you this evening. We're taking a break from Tony, and I get to come back to my chair that he's trying to take over and enjoy the evening with you. So Deon is someone who has inspired me to think about doing something like Purple Mic. I remember 10 years ago, I was leaving my 20s and went to go have a massage one day, and I met Deon. Since then, I've watched so many amazing live streams where he talks about spirituality, mental clarity, growth, dignity, integrity. There's so many things, and he's just vibing out, and it inspired me to actually do a project where Deon, tonight, it's all things you, man.
Mm-hmm. Who am I? In short, I would say I am a healer.
Mm.
But I am a son, I am a father, I am a lover, I am a brother, I am a black man.
Ooh. Yeah. What brought you to Purple Mic?
It was a collective of, different people, different walks of life, different experiences, life experiences. And we all come together as a collective to discuss topics that aren't usually broken down or really spoken on to.
And I think in retrospect, going back to season 1 and 2, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted a panelist. I wanted something that was going to marry the conversations. It seemed like everything was so opinionated, but there was no knowledge, no facts. You've really brought the spice to Purple Mic. You're honest, you're raw, you don't give a shit. You will leave it all on the table. And I love that about you. And you're very thorough.
I've had good practice lately.
And some nights you don't let me get away with my bullshit. So
It'd be funny, though. It'd be funny. You're hilarious. I don't know if I really am inspired by public figures. I think I'm more so inspired by the unknowns, the people that I watch go through real life adversities in the front of me and never give up. Like my mom, like my nephew, my brothers, even my girlfriend. I think I'm more so inspired by those people than public figures.
Yeah. And when you list these people, what is it that they bring to your life?
I was a spectator. I got to gain knowledge from their life experiences that they were having in the moment. So, I learned from watching them in certain instances or certain interactions we may have had or certain interactions they've had with others. I take in that information and, I make informed decisions on how I would apply it to myself. Sometimes I drop the ball because, it's hard trying to incorporate new things, but, I always get effort.
Absolutely. And so these people are your foundation.
I need something tangible. I don't need something that my imagination might get me to.
Yeah.
Like I don't live off those.
Yeah.
That does nothing for me, It's good to think about, it's good to see. That's just like living here close to Atlanta and we see celebrities all the time.
Right.
But to other people, they come here, they see them, they lose their fucking mind. And we like,
right. Do you hold any convictions that you are willing to die for?
More so just the things I love, the people I love. I'm real simple in that space. Like,
So let's get kind of personal. After a hard day's work, maybe you didn't go to work, maybe you just feel mentally shut down, frustrated. How does Deon de-stress?
Honestly, I'm a smoker, so I need a blunt. When I get out of work, I need a blunt when I wake up in the morning. You know, that's literally my go-to. Now, outside of my self-care, very few people can give me a massage, so I could do a better job of that, but that would be one of my go-tos. At least I would get some decent rest and I will feel rejuvenated and refreshed.
What does it do for you?
It decompresses you mentally and physically, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in those moments, depending on who the therapist is and how y'all connect and how y'all talk, you know, energy is everything, and I'm big on energy. So in that space, you never know what mentally you will decompress either. That's why that therapy part of massage therapy is so important, because you can go anywhere and get a massage, but when you get it to the point where it's literally therapy to you, then you found a great massage therapist.
Mm.
Mm. Not living up to my potential,
Mm. Wow.
losing my girlfriend. Mm,
Oh my God.
not being the best father I could be to my daughter.
Daughters.
Yeah, that part, daughters.
Mhm.
Shelby reminded me.
Yeah.
Nancy
Yeah.
gets she's hilarious. I love that little girl. She's funny.
That is so beautiful. Which is a great segue to my next question. What do you think the purpose of life is?
It's kind of complex too, but it's hard for you to necessarily find your purpose with all the worldly distractions going on. But in a nutshell, I think would be to live to your heart's content. But sometimes life gets the best of us and we can't.
Do you feel the heart is treacherous, like the Bible says?
No, I feel like men are. They will always be good with the bad, so you know, and the bad always do damage, and the good always are repairing constantly over time. Something I was taught, at some point, everybody reverts back to their default.
Explain.
It's hard to do what's right. It's, you know, growth is hard for others. Some people get too complacent in a certain space and they don't evolve.
Mm-hmm.
So in those spaces, you know, whether it be a friendship, relationship, job, they can only go so far before reverting back to their default because they are afraid to evolve.
Wow. Have you seen this before in life with peers and family?
Yeah, I've seen it in the past. Like once I was taught this, I mentally started to, I guess you can say, analyze just, you know, my upbringings, the people I've been encountered with, people I've been surrounded by,
Mm-hmm.
and just process how they've evolved since we've become young adults to now. So yeah, I've seen it. I still witness it now. You know, and we're human, so you know,
Yeah,
it happens.
absolutely. When you think of millennials and Gen X, what is your take regarding both generations, both male and female? And if you would please enlist the pros and the cons of both.
Um, I think I look at that in a, hmm. I look at that in like two different ways though. I feel like this is the generation that was created to shake shit up,
Mm.
challenge the old narrative, kind of like the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this new generation was created to push the envelope. Now they've gotten a little crazy with it. I will say that, but that was out of our control. But for the most part, I think this was just the start of what's to come as we, you know, evolve further along.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think is to come?
I think a lot of chaos gonna come from it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of chaos, a lot of wars just randomly happening, and a whole bunch of other stuff under the table. So
Do you think a lot of the current events right now that we're seeing, and this is not to get too political, but the things that we're witnessing right now with inflation, the international world events, do you think these are all signs of those times?
that could be,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll never know. That news will never really reach us unless some whistleblower just discovers some documents and it just gets exposed. You know how the TV shows and the movie show.
Yeah. Yeah. So the pros and cons of millennials and Gen X, when you think of both generations combined, we're now running the world, and this generation is coming forward looking at us like, oh, you guys were born in the 1900s. You guys are old. We will be your caretaker.
You didn't have to say it like that. But
Right? That's what they say.
dang, you made me sound ancient. 1900s. God dang. That's supposed to mean. Man, I better ever get told that. I don't know how I was.
I heard something the other day. It's like when you go to the liquor store, you don't have to, like, literally, you don't have to show your ID. They just, once they see that 19, you're good.
Dang. Who told you this?
What is your take on both generations? I mean, because me personally, not to take away from your thoughts, but I mean, I'm just going to say it. I think Gen X generation, I think they're just lazy, and I think they're
spoiled.
Yes. Yes. Whether it was
I
getting
don't think the Gen X kids ever will understand how serious it was when your mama told you to bring her the remote and it's sitting right beside her.
Precisely.
They don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
They say something smart like, it's sitting right beside you. We would never.
Oh.
We would say it in our head. We would say when we walk off. But before we give it to her, we would never.
Right. Head just rolling across the floor. Yeah, my household, we had belts swinging from the doorknob. Like, I wish we would. Like, that's how accessible an ass beating was in my house.
You be having to ask my mama where the belt came from because you didn't even see it in her hand. It just happened so fast. Just anything that doesn't serve me.
This is a forewarning for those of you watching the Purple Mic. He's warming up and he's getting ready to get started. So buckle your seatbelts.
You're so funny.
Feel it coming on. We going to church.
Nah, I don't preach. Yeah. And having the discernment to identify the things that don't serve me.
Yes.
That's the most important part to me right now, because I feel like I'm at the next stage of evolving, and mentally I have to position myself to where I need to be.
Yeah.
That about answers that question.
Where does a discernment come from?
Honestly, 2 places. One, just naturally, I'll be in my head a lot. Sometimes it's toxic to myself, but I be in my head a whole lot. And for the most part, that helps me sort through my thoughts a lot. The other half is being honest, probably after heated arguments with my girlfriend.
Is it in those moments where you learn from her, or you learn from yourself what you could have done better, or both?
I would say it's more so having time to really process her feelings and taking mine out of it. Because at first in the process, when we having the disagreements, things go a little heated. So you get caught up in a moment. You can't really. Well, I can't, for the most part. Focus on the two. Like it takes a second for me to catch on, calm down, and try to diffuse the situation. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes the narrative just goes left until we've had time to process things, and probably because this is one of the spaces that I truly care about, I actually take the time to process it.
Yeah.
Well, instead of acting like I don't care.
And so you find what strength in those moments to be
Um,
or to be a better.
I found another tool that I could use to help me reach where I want to be easier when I apply it to different elements in my life instead of a relationship.
Right.
I used to always be real impulsive and just react, and now I don't.
So it's helping you to become well-rounded as an individual. That's amazing. And so for a person who's not in a relationship, how would you encourage them to find discernment?
Try something you never did before.
Interest.
Because that's what I did. It's not my norm. It's not how I would usually.
So get out of your comfort zone, basically.
Can't really say a book because I'm not a real big avid reader.
No, not even Audibles?
Like the books that I did read, I probably read most of Ed Jerome Dickey books. Movie? Talk to Me with Don Cheadle. I think that's the first movie that ever really brought a tear to my eye. And the shit caught me off guard. I've never really been emotional from watching a movie.
Really?
That one kind of like it got real personal. It was that one scene when they had just announced that they had killed Martin Luther King, and like you could really just see the pain, like that moment, that acting moment. It was you as a black person. It's hard to watch that and not for the first time like empathize that type of pain. Like so, yeah, I would say that was probably my movie.
Favorite quote and why?
If you're gonna be anything in life, be amazing.
Why?
Why?
It's so great.
My nephew was tragically murdered. He was my best friend. And when I would have my down moments, he would always be the one person to get me out of those moments. And in the process of getting me out of those moments, he always said that to me. Even when I was thinking of giving up my career, going back to do stuff I didn't have no business doing in the first place, just a whole bunch of stuff. Like, he was real influential in that part of my life when I probably needed it the most.
I'm so sorry. How long ago did you lose your cousin?
My nephew,
Sorry, your nephew.
2017.
My condolences. Define a man and his purpose.
I think first you would have to consider that there's no one set type of man. So one definition of man doesn't define all man. I think the foundation of a man is, you got to have some type of moral compass and code of yourself and your own identity. And you have to know who you are. at all times.
And what would you say the purpose of a woman is?
I think it's a loaded question. In essence, okay, I can say that a woman's purpose is to create.
And how would you define a woman?
Mm, soft, feminine. Now, I'm not saying she's exempt of any masculinity though.
Thank you.
Soft, feminine.
Yeah. Do you think that's rare today to find?
No. I think it's more so. It's not more applicable as it used to be, and this generation more so. It's not given. You have to learn how to access it. Some women can give it naturally, and some women you have to access it. Meaning, okay, in other words, some women it comes unconditionally with who they are,
Right.
because it's in them, and some women it comes conditionally because they need, I guess, certain boxes checked. If I could use that statement.
Mm-hmm. So basically, you have to be what they need you to be first in order for you to open that door, to have that key that opens that door.
Mm-hmm.
Is the same thing true when it comes to men? With everything that men are subscribing to today.
Not men are pursuers, so I can't necessarily even compare the two in that aspect. Because at the end of the day, the women's not gonna go. You know, women don't make husbands. They make kings, they make princes,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't make husbands. Husbands make wives.
Right. But at the same time, if he needs to check all her boxes.
I mean, she has to reciprocate to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on a certain type of man. Certain men might not require that though. I think that to truly answer that, it would be basically it depends on what's required.
Mm-hmm. What's required for Deon?
Peace. I'm touchy feely. Touch is my love language. So definitely attentiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Those are made mutually. The real issue would be identifying and consistently giving effort to each other's love languages mutually.
Yeah.
But sometimes we try to love people in our own love language, and it backfires on us.
Yeah. To elaborate just a little bit more, how does a couple continue to water and nurture that part of the relationship when you talk about love languages? I mean, you can continue to be spontaneous, you can try new things, but what keeps a couple together? What keeps men ticking? What keeps a woman ticking? What do you think that formula consists of? We live in a very visual society. Everything is accessible. So what keeps a man and a woman coming home?
If it's something that you can work on and salvage. Something I was told, you have to make the decision to either be in or be out. And if you make the decision to be in, then you have to be willing to do the work. So I think that need to be identified first. Get comfortable having hard conversations. The stuff you don't want to talk about, just go ahead and talk about it, bro. Once out, you'll feel much better. Just keep it in your head and just trying to move and not deal. If you come back to bite you in the ass too.
Yes.
learn how to truly be more intimate
Mm.
and not sexual. I ain't saying you're not gonna smash. I ain't saying that, but there's levels to it.
Right.
You'll get a totally different version of her.
Mm. That's so true.
Date properly and explore who you are, so when it's time, you will know who you want to be.
Deon, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, love?
Hopefully, owning my own spa,
Hmm.
full day spa. Not just like the average massage place, something similar to like Jeju, but a more modern version.
Is this something that you want to do only within the city of Atlanta, or do you want yourself
I
around?
think I think it would be, Atlanta would always be my baby. So that would be the starting point, the focal point. Because once it pops here, it can pop anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on here. So if it attracts, the attention that I think it would attract, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, you speak it into the universe. It's going to happen.
Personal philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few of them, to be honest. But I think my favorite one would be it's real simple. Just do the work, whatever that looks like. If that looks like therapy, if that looks like, you know, taking time out for you, if that looks like reevaluating who you are, just do the work. Don't be complacent on where you are in life, because there's always another stage, another phase, another place you can grow to. So, do the work.
Yeah. You talk about that a lot on the show here. And I think in the beginning, I felt like doing the work was more like an assignment. I'm just
Mhm.
going to journal and I'm going to tap in and kind of see, how I feel
I think
today.
that's what people hear when they hear it. That's probably how they process it. But to actually dissect it and apply it will cost a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to do the work. A lot of people hit a certain place and they feel like they made it. Once they feel like they made it, that's it. It
Yeah.
ain't nothing. What's next? Like, I made it. It's always another level. It could be mental, it could be spiritual, it could be physical. It ain't
Mhm.
gotta be business wise success. It's another phase to life.
What's your passion?
Massaging. Not even
What is it about massage that invigorates you? And when you call it your passion, why?
because I can do it in my sleep.
All those nerves in the body, all those
9 times out of 10, I'm probably massaging with my eyes closed anyway. I zone off and I go to a totally different realm.
Mhm, mhm,
Like, it becomes my therapy in the same
mhm,
process. But naturally, there's always some type of message that comes from my sessions, just organically. And
mhm. Is that something that you feel spiritually
yeah,
when
you can say that. Hmm.
because you're in tune with that person and
Yeah,
that message comes through?
yeah. I tap into people in ways that I'm still not sure of how, but there's never been a time or a moment where I wasn't right on the money.
Mm.
Whatever message, it might have been timely too. I'm
When
like
you say there was never a time you weren't right on the money, does that mean that the person
received what I said to them. Hmm. wholeheartedly. I can't count how many times those moments have made someone cry on my table.
Mm. You received that message inside of the therapy that you provided?
Mm-hmm.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm. A lot of my clients can attest to that. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you can kind of say it's a part of my gift.
Isn't it like a Reiki healer too? Because
I don't really.
subscribe to that.
So this is my thing. Reiki is amazing.
Mhm.
If you can tap into your energy, it's words can't describe the experience you may get from it.
You're
Especially
tapping into it,
yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. But I don't necessarily have to use Reiki. No, I can, but I don't. Reiki is another form of it. Just talking massage talk. But Reiki is an energy based chakra opening type of service. I have a few friends that do it, but me personally, I don't really devil that, get that deep into the energy work. But I can tap into it, but on a different level.
Mm.
I have two Reiki practitioners that are my clients.
Oh, wow. What is that like, their energy and your energy together?
Um,
When
mm,
you marry those 2, what happens in a dynamic like that?
it's kind of like, I guess you can say it's more so of a euphoric release for her,
Mm.
and the other one, it taps into her heart chakra, as she says. She's been to me quite a few times, and probably out of those quite a few times, there's only one time she didn't cry.
Mm.
She always cries, like whatever that releases. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just interesting.
Yeah. Deon, what does intimacy look like?
A safe, soft space.
Mm.
No, I won't use that word. A safe space where you can be vulnerable with each other and explore.
A safe space where you can be vulnerable with each other and explore. Explore what?
Whatever that looks like.
Okay.
There is no defined identity to explore. Now, the average male will instantly go to sex, but
Right.
that's still a small figment of
Yeah.
possibilities of what you could explore in that space, because there are different versions of intimacy. There's the mental, physical, and the emotional. So
Mhm.
those are different spaces. It depends which ones you can tap into.
What if you cannot be completely naked with that person?
Hard conversations need to be had, and you both need to be honest with where you both are mentally,
Mm.
emotionally, and physically,
Yeah.
individually and as a unit.
Mhm.
And see what you're capable of and what you're not.
Yeah. I want to ask you another question while we're on this subject. It's a beautiful one. Do you believe in theory that we fall in love with 3 people in a lifetime?
Wholeheartedly.
Explain that.
I feel like one teaches you what love could be. The other one comes in and breaks barriers and teaches you how to love yourself. And I feel like your third one is like your soulmate. Now, just because you fell in love with these 3 people don't mean that's who you end up being with, though.
You knew I was going to ask.
Yeah, I know you very well.
So what do you do with that? Is
You,
this why people have side tricks and side dudes and
you keep going. It's your life. You define it. You define how you want to live it. At the end of the day, you still have to compromise on something. So if you're gonna do the work, I'm gonna do the work.
Yeah.
So that means if I'm fighting for this, that means you fighting for this. The minute one of us stop fighting, I can't fight by myself. You never know where you're gonna get your gems in life. You know, you can just hope that when you get them, you are at the capacity to receive them. It's one of my philosophies that I other ones that I live by. But you know, and in those spaces, if it's a space where both of y'all are always doing the work, then you're fighting for or forever. So, you know, that's a different narrative. But just in general, they're not entitled to you.
Mm.
There's no manual to this. You have to figure it out. There is no, hey, take route A all the way down to route B. Then once you get there, go to route. It doesn't work like
That's what I'm looking for, because that's what my prayers always consist
no,
of.
it don't. It
God,
don't. There
please
is
put the
none.
writing on the wall. I always say that.
Mm-mm.
Show me.
Mm-mm. No, ma'am. Doesn't
Wow.
work like that.
You know, I was talking to a friend the other night and I shared with her Erica Campbell. She states, when you can't make a decision, that is your answer. The answer being no. But I think all too many times women, we overthink and we make it so confusing, more confusing than it has to be.
I think the notion that is simple for men is probably what leads to a lot of toxic spaces. I don't think that's really the normal for men now. However, men are stupid. So um, we will have this nonchalant, tough ass act like I don't care, which is that's the real backfiring issue right there. And once that happens, instead of always trying to, I guess, give effort for something that you truly want, you know, to show you really trying to show up and be there in that space. I think that's what women look for, and most times they don't get it, so they go left. And then reality checks in with men, most of them, because you know the ratio is crazy here. So shit, I can go get me another one, start all over.
Yeah.
But they never fix the issue with themselves. They got them there in the first place. So you
Yeah.
know, it's kind of like a ripple effect.
Exactly.
I think it's needed, but everybody think they all got to figure it out.
Do you think it's because we want to be perceived as perfect, or like we have our stuff together?
It could be a multitude of things. I think more so with men is they don't want to be in a vulnerable space.
Right.
You know, that's one thing men fear more than anything: vulnerability in any aspect, especially if it challenges them. You know, in ways that they can't control as a man. You know, or if you challenge everything that they thought they knew.
Mm-hmm.
Just, mm.
So when you talk about therapy, is this clinical, or are there different?
Your therapy could be going to church. Your therapy could be going to lay on somebody's sofa.
Yeah.
Your therapy could be going home to your grandmama. Your therapy could be sitting at home talking to your wife or your spouse.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain different versions of what therapy could be for you. You know, now there's a professional courtesy to it, yes, of course, but what's therapy to you is therapy to you. Like for instance, massage is therapy to me. Giving a massage is therapy to me.
Right.
So if I'm giving you a massage, let's just say if I'm having a horrible day, first thing I want to do is give a massage. Why? Because the energy that I'm finna give you, I'm finna transfer some of it back to me and fix my energy. And now I'm back grounded. I go to my little la la land in my head, and I come out back to myself. All that negative energy, all that uncertainty, uneasiness is gone from my body, my energy, and I'm back secure with where I need to be.
Yeah.
So that's one version of therapy. Having hard conversations has become therapeutic. Because it helps break through certain barriers that you didn't really know were there, or you knew but not to the capacity of how and why, and the ripple effect of how it made others feel that you care for. So,
if you could sum up our conversation tonight and leave us with one thought, what would you say?
I think we touched on a lot of well-rounded topics, but what I would want to leave you with is there are always going to be certain things that you just have to grow through. Just mentally be prepared to do the work. And if you don't feel like you are all the way there mentally, go get therapy and see why. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. And I ain't saying you got to go pay nobody either. But, we all have certain gems in our lives. We just don't necessarily use them. We don't always, pay attention to our resources. Just keep your eyes open and always focus on being the best version of you.
For those at home watching who perhaps maybe they don't have healthcare insurance or they don't even know where to begin, can you offer that advice?
See, the sad part of that is, the era we came up under, we had a village. We had those elders we could go to. We had those, truly influential people we could tap into that's tangible that we can reach out and touch. And the reality for today is they have it at their fingertips. They're just not doing the work. For every 2-3 reels you see an influential one. You see people that they can tap into. You see people that can, because they're not connecting with people, they're connecting with devices now.
Right.
The information that comes from the devices is logged to them to a degree. So they see it every day in their face. How do they receive it is the question I would ask. Do they just, I hear you talking, or they actually listen, process, and apply? I'm looking forward to season 4 of The Purple Mic.
You are amazing. You are a gem. You are a king. And we are so honored to have you. There have been so many times where I've kind of been lost. And I know that I have amazing brothers on my squad who, I can ask hard questions and they're going to give me that pushback. They may not give me all the answers because they're still going to make me do the work. You guys challenge me. But Deon, you are definitely that one where, a lot of us women, we can find solace and a lot of answers. So we thank you for being that here on the Purple Mic. For those of you watching, yes, we are in season 4. This is, again, our 4th installment of the It's Getting to Know You. And you can come back in 2 weeks to see Miss Lashana Edwards. And she'll be our next panelist.
Oh, my friend gonna be on here?
Yes. And it's the Getting to Know You segment. If you haven't already, please head over to our Instagram, our Twitter, and our Facebook. There you can check on all of the panelists, as we always give you guys updates on future episodes, what our panelists are up to, quotes, and so much more. We're on YouTube Monday and Thursdays, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not already, last thing, this is the final week for our spring cash giveaway. All details are on our Instagram over at the Purple Mic. Enter. There you'll find all the details. And who doesn't want free cash? So you guys go enter. Please subscribe, share, like,
They can give it to me. I take the free
follow.
money.
Say it. Thank you so much, Deon. We love you. And for all
Appreciate
of our
you.
viewers at home, good night.